Pretend you're really into what I'm saying, though. That'd be cool. Just look in, like, admiration. Welcome to Mailroom, a show that takes us girls inside the mind of the opposite sex by going straight to the source. Welcome to Mailroom, a show that takes us girls inside the mind of the opposite sex by going straight to the source. In each episode, we'll be sitting down with 3 different types of guys to get their perspectives, translate our texts, and provide some tribal knowledge on their elusive species. In today's episode, Is Romance Dead? We'll discuss if Disney and rom-coms have completely corrupted our expectations of dating and relationships forever. I don't think I want forever on there.
Okay.
Oh, I feel you on that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little dramatic.
Dale. I was like, what's rom-com? Bro.
You don't know what a rom-com is?
There's a lot of names for things that I could never
It's
figure.
probably a lot of movies that you watch
Oh, I watch them all the
and
time.
cry.
Made in Manhattan.
The Devil Wears Prada is classic.
was it?
But that's not really
the
rom-com.
Anne Hathaway.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Okay.
The definition of rom.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have each one of you go around, say your name, your age, what you do, and the type of guy that you think that you are.
So I'm Derek Peth, 32. I would say I'm a finance non-bro.
That's possible. After us sitting here, I know it's
Highly
possible.
unlikely, but possible.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig it.
Trademark
I
that.
accept the support. The type of guy I am, I'm a city boy with like country in my heart.
It's a good comment.
Yeah, my name is Dale Moss. I'm 31 years old, former athlete, now model and host. And I'm just someone who likes to have fun. I'm all about handling business, having fun, and if you can't laugh, I think you're losing.
Good one.
Very
Yeah.
good.
That is a catchphrase, bro.
Ooh, nice
Very
move.
good. Hey, what up all? My name is Eric Phillips. I am 32 and I am vice president and COO of an education company. I'm also a model and I am me. There's no other way to say it.
Hey,
Well,
I
what
dig it.
type of guy are you
Respect.
with ladies?
Very introspective, also very in touch with my feminine side and also very masculine in the right ways.
Great. It's getting hot in here. Okay.
Checks.
Noted.
So how would you guys define romance?
I think romance is a little bit of vulnerability, to be honest. You have to be willing to fail, but also I think at sometimes you just gotta say, screw it and take a chance. So not really knowing what's gonna happen, you can have an idea. So if I had to put it one word, vulnerability is a level of romance. And then at the end of the day, I think obviously you have to have passion and love at the same time.
Going above and beyond to be and communicate your authentic self and how you actually feel about someone.
Is that hard for you guys to do?
I think that's hard. I think we all pretend to know who our authentic selves are, and everybody's filtering themselves constantly. Like we're always in our heads having anxiety about, like what does this other person think of me in XYZ way? Unless you're a sociopath. And
Or maybe too smooth too. Like
right, but that's what I mean about using the word
Yeah.
So I think but that's a part of being your authentic self. It's like not afraid to show some of the blemishes early on and just put them out there. That can be just as attractive when I think of like what I find in women when they are open with their blemishes.
Do you guys believe in love at first sight? Is that, or lust at first sight maybe is more realistic,
believe in
but
love
is
at
that
first
still a
sight.
thing?
I do,
Yeah?
yeah. Like I've experienced it, I've seen it brought to fruition with like multiple friends. I think it's a real thing. Like I don't, not to be like too naive about it, like every relationship is work, but I think there's somebody who you see and they just floor you.
Do you think with your logic or do you think more with your feelings? So like head or the heart?
At this stage in my life personally, and I'm going through like really exactly kind of what we talked about. I think like it's investment, right? Like because you're gonna invest in each other and push each other to grow. Like if you're not gonna help one another go to another level, at a certain point, like how can you start it?
You may, but I'll play devil's advocate for a second. I think a lot of us, I know I've done it myself, stay in a relationship out of fear of like being single.
Yeah.
And so because of that, like even as guys, that's a thing. Especially
Of course.
like there's a lot of positives that go along with having a relationship, even if it's not the best relationship, right? I like what Eric said about like do together, you become a better person because you're balancing each other out in many ways. And that's like, I think that's what I'm also seeking. And that's what I think personally everybody should seek, is not somebody who necessarily like completes them, but actually together you become something better.
Yeah, and even if you really like the version of yourself that you are with that person, because I think like one of our questions, which could be the next one, is describe your perfect person. And I think a lot of people go to the cliche, well, brunette, 5'2", 3. Just kidding, I'm totally joking. But I would go to a guy that looks like this, and he's like that, instead of someone I'm gonna grow with and someone that is also into self-discovery. I know you do a lot of that, but so I think a lot of people look for qualities in someone that are pretty generic, and they don't look at like, who am I with that person? So on that note, how would you guys describe your perfect partner?
I'm looking for a bitch with a big heart.
I dig that.
So I like people who have an edge to them. I like somebody, because I think that comes back to the word that we talked about already, authenticity.
I think you hit on it really well, Mindy, when you said like, which I had actually never thought about before until you just said it. Who am I like with this person? If I'm thinking about the perfect person who I'm with, it's probably someone who brings out the best version of myself. And like, if I'm on a journey of like self-actualization in this life, I want to be with somebody who is going to facilitate that and contribute to that. And that only comes if it's symbiotic and if I'm doing the same for them.
No, that's
Dale,
real.
how are you gonna top that one?
There's definitely has to be that traction, or almost that feel of like, damn, is she out of my league? Is she too much for me?
Do you meet a lot of women like that?
So I meet a lot of women on the outside who you would think, I would get that feeling, but the substance or some of the things might not be there. And at the end of the day, like when you're in a room and like, y'all can all attest to this, especially, it doesn't really matter the status or it can be like these elite groups. Like if your energy, you carry yourself with confidence and you connect and have a conversation, like you can see into their soul. You can really get a good feel.
Women can have VDE too.
Yeah.
That's a whole
yeah.
BDE.
What's that?
Isn't that BDV? Wait, no, BVE?
That's technically, yeah, you're right. BVE.
No, we can bleep it out if it's
It's big energy. Like
BSD,
that's
like big swinging.
Yeah, but it's
Wait,
I think
something else
BDE is
about
like the
this.
new thing.
I think it's not so black and white as the question like supposes, right?
You don't like my
I
question?
Nah, I like the question.
Kidding. I'm totally joking.
The question is good. It's a great question.
Yo, I was gonna do the same thing.
This question is very black and white.
You are a genius
allowed on
among
this show.
question askers.
No, it's a great question, Mindy. I love it.
Great question. We had a great conversation.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because look at the dialogue it's eliciting, right? Only a good question could do that.
Thank you.
But I think in every relationship, there's X variables that you both need to overcome. And if the connection is strong enough, not timing, not geography, like not circumstance, like there's nothing that will impede you from overcoming those variables if the connection is strong enough.
Yeah.
Amen.
I love that mindset, and I try to, I think, have that mindset, but I do think that's like what we've been told in every rom-com.
Oh, bringing it back. Yeah, in a rom-com though, a guy like chases you in the rain or through an airport. I don't think that happens anymore, does it? You guys done that recently?
No, I think that does happen.
Actually.
I think that
Where?
does
I've been thrown out of a house and like, actually I just went and got a hotel in the Strip in Vegas after that and just stayed for the
similar.
night.
Where I was going with that is the fact that like there's an ending to the rom-com, right? And so totally like there's a pursuit and there can be love, and actually that can last for years too. But at a certain point in time, if neither of you is open to making any sacrifice, then there's no connection there. I do think that has ruined a little bit of our mindsets because we think so short term in a lot of ways. And this like explosive love that is great and we should all want to feel. It doesn't necessarily mean that in the end, it's gonna be more than a few months.
Texting may have single-handedly helped or killed your game, but for us, it's a psychological minefield. Each episode, we take 2 of your favorite texts that you submit and get our esteemed panel of gents to translate them. So, the text I'm going to read to you guys for a little bit of background is about a girl who met a guy at a conference. So he got her information and texted her and said, "You definitely win Best Networker of the Night." So she writes back, "What do I win?" And he writes back, "You're such a flirt. I love it. What do you want?" And then she writes back.
He said, "What do you want?"
Yeah, he said, "What do you want?" And so then I write, she was.
What conference is this?
So then I write,
It's a tech conference, supposedly.
Okay, that makes all the difference.
She writes back, "How about a drink?" So he says, "Great, but honestly, I've sort of been an asshole to women lately. So trying to change that. I mean, there's clearly attraction, right? Just jumping to the chase. So, what's your take on this exchange?" Well, first, what do you think of this? What do you think of this guy? Do you think he's being vulnerable? To your point.
How long did you know this guy?
For one day at a conference. Fine. Okay. Okay. Fine. It was me. Fine. But I met him one day at a conference. And
Like in this case, this guy is laying out what his intentions are instead of being vulnerable.
so, meaning if he does do something, then he can always fall back on, "Hey, I told you I was kind of an asshole and I'm working on it."
Yeah.
So like an excuse.
You just met this woman. She doesn't know anything about you. You don't got to explain anything to her. Just keep
Yeah.
it like straightforward.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Why is he
it's
saying
her
this?
Nobody
problem.
wants to hear that.
Like,
first of all.
what are you setting yourself up for besides failure?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's a casual conversation. But if you meet at a drink, you can say that and like let it go. But like, you are not putting the odds in your favor, and it's demasculating. It's honestly like, it's unattractive. And I'm not even on the other side, but I'd be like behind him, slapping him in the back of the head, like, "Bro, what are you doing? Just let it flow." So I don't know.
If I zoom out a little bit, what I hear is a dude who's clearly made some mistakes in the past, is in the midst of this like tumultuous like internal journey and has not figured it out yet. And so
yeah.
you should probably like if I were to recommend anything to a girl, it would be like he needs to figure that out on his own, like
I think
not
he's
with your
obsessive.
company.
I think he's obsessive.
I'm gonna tell my friend to steer clear.
As males, we're all on like different journeys, like of becoming a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think many males live their entire life without ever actually becoming a man, which means like both with women and in other aspects, but especially with women or your woman, like making the choice of like, this is what I want and like, this is what I'm gonna sacrifice for.
Are you at man status? Raise your hand if you're
Not
at
for me to
man
decide,
status.
I think.
I think I am, yeah.
I definitely feel like I'm at man status. I think you're constantly evolving though, as like what that entails, just like love. Like you can love somebody and there's different levels.
This one is very romantic, or not. You guys will be the judge. So the person wrote, "Hey, what are you feeling like?" And she wrote, "Up for anything." So he writes back, "How can I invite myself over with a bottle of wine and not sound like that guy?" So what is
I'm
a
gonna
girl
call
to
define
do?
romantic, but-
Give her address, try to cultivate this? Or do you think that if the moment presents itself, that a girl should just pursue it and see where it leads?
I think I hear like one of two different things. One is, and I've been both of these, first of all, like for the record, right? Like, so I'm not trying to act like above.
Touche, my friend.
So I hear like, first of all, a guy who doesn't have the confidence and the experience to be direct in what he wants, and to say, "Hey, I want to take you out tonight. Like, do you want to come over with a bottle of wine or whatever?" Or you want. So like, he's not being direct. Maybe he's being genuine and playful, but that message isn't communicating to what I hear anyway. Like again, like a man is direct and clear, and that message isn't very clear to me.
There's a little flirtation though. Like I get
Yeah,
flirtation,
for sure.
like a little flirting in there and like testing the waters. If they've seen each other a few times, like I think it's hard to really just dive in and be like, find the encrypted message in this.
Can I come over with a bottle of wine?
But at this age, like if I've
really-
seen someone a few times and like it's like, hey, I'd love for you to come over. Like here, I'll come over. I'll grab a bottle of wine. Like we'll just chill at the place for the night. Now again, that's not how everyone approaches it, but like I do really feel that when you can kind of frame.
What are you doing after this?
I got them chocolates
There's a few
too.
people interested in what you're doing after this tonight. No.
Well, you know, I ain't got no ring on this finger. You know what I'm saying?
So what are some of the rules, right? Like, should a girl be mysterious and like you go out several times? Sometimes you guys will say one thing and do another. You'll say like, well, I want this girl to hold out for date 3 or 4 or whatever you guys have in your mind. And then, but date 2, you're giving her all the mixed messages of, where are you going, bro?
I was gonna grab another lover boy.
Should a girl put out right away if you're showing her that that's what you guys want? Or should she wait it out for a few dates?
Wait it out, for sure.
Agreed. The best relationships I've had have waited it out.
There's no time limit on if it's someone I'm interested in. Like, I'm not gonna be like, damn, we haven't hit the sheets like in this amount of times or whatever. It's like, yo, I'm rocking with you through and through. Like, you know, obviously there's an interest. I think in a lot of situations, men do lose a little bit of respect. Not respect. I mean, it's like, it's what you came for. Like sometimes it's how you approach it. Like it's a fun, flirtatious, freaky night. And that's fun. And that can lead into some long-term stuff too. But I think that's kind of in the woman's court, right? What you want, like you're grown, so.
Now, I'd like to cue our special correspondent, Anita Mann, our woman on the street, to get daily PSAs from guys all around the world. What are you looking for?
Man, someone who likes dive bars and the Yankees, I guess. Like, yeah.
Do you want to date a guy? Maybe that might be a better way to go in that case. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Do you want to date someone that has the same interests as you?
I think you need a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's gonna like share some things, but then also like branch out your interests to be super cliche. I want to learn something new. That'd be nice.
Trainable.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you please let us know what's something every girl should know?
I would say that from a man's perspective, in terms of having a successful relationship, is when you get into a fight to understand that 99% of the time she's right.
Ooh, you guys hearing that? 99%.
And that's when you stop and listen.
Great. You heard it here first.
Guys probably care a lot less about the things that they obsess over. Like being obsessed about like, oh, my nose has to look a certain way, my lips have to be a certain way, my body goals, ass, this, that. And it's like, it's not really that key. We're not as picky as you probably think we are, because whatever we like on Instagram is just like, okay, this came across, cool, that's good. But it's not that serious.
So how do you feel about a muffin top?
I mean, if you would have asked me that 5 years ago, I would have looked at you sideways. Nowadays,
That's a good point. So the older you're getting, the priorities are changed a little.
absolutely. You realize that like it's all superficial.
Instagram, people you follow, do they typically have like the big fake jugs and that's the initial draw, but then later you're like, I like the natural girl too? Or does the natural girl get a chance?
When I say Instagram is fake, it's because it is like, this is nice to look at, but I'm not like, this wouldn't be my preference. If it's hard to put that in words, because like if I had A or B, well, I mean, they're probably both gonna be good.
A cup or B cup, you mean?
Nah, actually, that's fine too.
Obviously, this isn't an awful view. So I wanted to ask you guys, with a lot of temptation out there and people that obviously reach out to you, how is one person ever enough with all the temptation?
I've never had a problem like when I'm committed to someone being really committed. Cause like, I'm not gonna lie, like I love women, I'm sexual, I'm open, like whatever. But like, I get really freaking annoyed, or like if there's shallow or there's not depth, like I can't do it, right? So I would rather invest in someone, but please believe I'm gonna take my time and make sure it's right. I'm not in a rush by any means, but I'll go back to like, I'm pretty direct and like understand where I wanna go in my life and like, you know, with certain goals. I don't think it'll like be a like someone will really pull me like in that direction when the time is right. Especially now, we're even having this conversation, being more open to it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, live in New York, there's beautiful women everywhere. Like, your hips would get pretty sore if you didn't have some control, and that was advice the whole time.
So you're doing it to avoid an injury. It's like
Yeah, I
respectable.
mean, I've had a couple of hip flexor injuries and some scares here and there, but
I try to ignore like the mess. I feel like I'm a captain on the ocean. It's like there's all this stuff going on, and honestly,
Rough waters.
I just want to find like the North Star.
Prince Eric, what's your verdict on your options?
No. You know, it's like the person who stands for nothing falls for everything. And so if
The poetry.
I want fulfillment, I need to have a clear idea of like what I'm looking for and how that's going to manifest, and then equally, if not more important, like behave accordingly.
And now, to the safest and most consensual part of the show, just the tips. So guys, what's your one tip for all the ladies of the world?
My one tip is don't be afraid. These like gender roles that we put on everybody have really paralyzed people for like years and years. And frankly, I'm an introvert. And if a woman like is interested in me and says something, I love that. I'm not that like I don't do the same, but like I don't think women should be afraid to like do something different than what maybe we've been taught for the last 20 years.
It's a good tip.
yeah. I'll literally play off that a little bit of a twist, but like, don't be afraid to push a man away. I feel like if it's a right situation, that's not going to happen. And if you're not going to stand your ground and set boundaries for what you believe in, it's never going to work. And he's got to do the same.
I'm going to give you 2 tips, actually.
Ooh, bonus.
Wow. Now I feel
The tip and some balls.
So one is, I do believe this, like hold out if it's somebody like you're really interested in, at least a little bit. And then 2, to piggyback off what both these fine men have said.
Do you guys want to be alone?
I mean,
Just tips.
try your best to decipher if you're receiving indirectness, if it's because a dude is genuinely interested and just hasn't become comfortable with himself, or if he's f***ing around. And if it's the latter, push him. Don't be afraid to push him away.
Yeah, bump that. If that's
Really
your
good
goal.
advice. Yeah.
Sure.
Guys, thanks for joining us in the mailroom.
Cheers. Thank you, Mindy.
And ladies, we have a lot more mail to go through next time. See you then. Clever, right?
Yeah, very good.
I like that.